Jim Aqua and you are watching the foolproof marine aquarium. Okay, so this is part 2 of the filtration system we are discussing. In part 1, we discussed how to grow the bacterial filter. Now we're going to choose and set up the filtration system of our foolproof marine aquarium. So in here we're going to choose what is the most efficient and the best and economical. So we have different filter options, and we are going to study the advantages and disadvantages of the different filtration system. So what we see in here is a sump filtration or a sump filter. Okay, so the sump filter is a filtration system that is expandable and sits at the bottom of the aquarium or on the side of the aquarium. The advantage is that it could be large and could have expandable attachments. You can put protein skimmers, algal filters, bioballs, and whatever you want in this system. The main disadvantage with this is that it has much pipings and will require you to make a hole into the side of your aquarium. It is prone to accidents because the area where the hole is actually a weak point in the aquarium. Moreover, it could spill outside the aquarium because of the piping system. It has to be perfectly balanced as far as the inflow and the outflow is concerned. So it is costly, and you will have to hire an expert to make this for you. Better to hire an expert than suffer accidents. Okay, now our next option is the hang-on filter. The advantage of a hang-on filter is that it is economical. It is readily available. You can add one or more hang-on filter. Okay, so it sits on the side or on the back of your tank. It is easy to clean. Okay. The disadvantage of this is that there is only a very limited size that will be available because it sits at the back and on the side of your tank. So the filter volume is dependent on those things, and if ever it spills outside of the tank, and you have to be careful with that because it might end up in the electric outlets, just like the sump filtration. The hang-on filter is not expandable. If you need a protein skimmer, then you have to get additional protein skimmers. You cannot just put it into the hang-on filter. So your protein skimmers could be placed inside your tank. And then there is the canister filter. The advantage of this is that this is readily available and already manufactured by reputable dealers. The disadvantage of this is that it could spill also outside of your tank. Since it is dependent on gaskets and it is pressurized, there's a possibility that it could spill. So it's also accident prone. Moreover, it is hard to clean and service because you will have to dismantle everything and have to be careful with the piping system of your tank. Okay, so it is not expandable to attachments. You cannot put a protein skimmer in here or an algal filter. So if you need those things, you then have to add it additional filters. And then there is the overhead filtration, popular with freshwater aquarium. But there's an advantage to the overhead filtration. It is easy to install with less piping needed. It just sits on top of the aquarium. And it is not really prone to accidents. Why? Because of the lesser piping, and if ever there would be a leakage, it would not be on the outside of the aquarium, but rather on top, and the leak would simply fall into the aquarium itself. So there is not very little danger that the spillage would fall into electric outlets outside the tank. Another advantage is that it is economical. Probably it is the most economical of all the filters that I have shown. Okay, so as far as economy is concerned, then we have an advantage in here. And it could be as long as the tank. Okay, so it could be large. The disadvantage is that it is not expandable for attachments. If you need a protein skimmer and you want a protein skimmer or an algal filter, then you have to put additional filtration into the tank. Okay, but my personal favorite is really the overhead filtration because of the ease of maintenance of this filtration system and the least danger it poses to the aquarium system. Okay, so that is the advantage and disadvantage. So if you want a protein skimmer, then buy an additional protein skimmer to sit on the tank itself. Okay, so that is my filter of choice actually. Okay, so you may wonder, it depends on you actually on what filter you want to choose. Okay, if you want something that is economical, then the overhead filtration has an adjustable power head. Okay, so you will use the criteria known as EES. Okay, acronym for easy. Okay, E for efficiency, E for economy, S for safety. So we are going to use this criteria. So I chose an overhead filtration system for this example. Okay, it's the easiest to install. Okay, so I just put my biological filter media, which we have shown in part 1, which has been cultured for around 6 weeks in a bucket. Okay, so 6 weeks in advance, you can watch part 1. Okay, I have already cultured the bacteria media for the foolproof aquarium. Okay, so we fill up the bottom area with the bacterial media. Okay, and this bacterial filter need not be cleaned that often. Okay, if ever it needs cleaning, once, twice, or 3 times a year, make sure you clean it in salt water, never in fresh water. Otherwise, the bacteria will be killed. Okay. Next, I will install the mechanical part of this, and I will use white nylon wool for the mechanical filtration, which I will simply put near the outlet of the pumping system. Okay, so I will just put it on top of the biological filter media. Now the mechanical filter media could be cleansed as often as you want to avoid clogging. Okay, so just insert it near the outlet of the pump. Okay, so by the way, the mechanical filter could be cleansed in fresh water if you want. Okay, but remember, the biological filter media will only have to be cleansed in salt water. So I just stuck in there the mechanical portion, and if ever I need cleaning, I just pull it out. Okay, and leaving the biological filter untouched. Okay, it is that simple to set this up. Okay, so we simply cover this and make sure that the piping system is well attached to the overhead filtration. We now put the cover to avoid spillage. Okay. Next, we will attach the power head. Actually, I picked the power head that is not too large. I prefer the smaller power heads. For my 90-gallon aquarium, I simply use an 8-watt power head because I noticed that if the power head is too strong, the biological filtration will not be that efficient. There is a right flow for biological filtration to be at its optimum. So in this example, I chose the smallest power head and I closed off the secondary outlet, which is for the circulation of the aquarium. Okay, so because I will simply use this power head to power the overhead filtration and not really to circulate water in the aquarium. Okay, so because in my experience, the outlet from the power head is already enough to circulate the aquarium. Okay, so I use all the power in the power head to move water into the overhead filtration system. So in here, I have switched on the power head, and as you can see, water is now moving, and there is enough movement in here for my 90-gallon aquarium, and there is also enough filtration from experience from this size of overhead filter with just an 8-watt power head. Okay, so this is my 90-gallon aquarium, and I have placed marble pebbles on the bottom, and I will explain later why and what are the advantages of putting pebbles on the bottom of the tank. So I have now filled up the aquarium. So as you can see, no movement is noticeable once the water level has been at the desired level. So if you look at the aquarium, there seems to be no visible sign of filtration, no distraction. Okay, the only thing you will see is the power head on the corner of the tank. Okay, now let us look at the top of the tank. The overhead filtration is not even noticeable because the lighting system is covering the overhead filtration. Okay, so if you look at the tank, there is no major distraction, not much piping system going on in here, but rather this is very simple. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button to view the continuation of this video on how we will set up and decorate the tank and put the fishes in here. So this is Jim Aqua Soap. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and put the like button also if you found this helpful. Okay, so till next time, this is Jim Aquasol. See you on part 3 of setting up the foolproof aquarium system.